You're right, this isn't beer. This is sake. But I like sake, and I figured, what the heck? I have not studied sake to the extent that I have studied beer, though I haven't studied beer all that much, to be honest. I also have all the little accessories, but nah, I'm actually just going to use the glass I usually use because I want to get those aromas in that nice wide surface area. There are various ways to serve sake, over the rocks, iced, slightly warmed to about 105 degrees, and that's what this is for. But no, I tend to prefer my sake at room temperature, straight up. So that's how I'll try it today. Anyways, this is me, Matthew. I'm going to be Touring the Drew drinking Gekkeikan sake, which is made in Fremont, California, of all places. So, sake is a fermented rice beverage. You might call it rice wine. You might call it rice beer. It is made by boiling the rice to loosen up the starches, same as you do the barley or the wheat or whatever grains you're using in the beer. And then adding koji, I believe, which is not yeast. It plays a role akin to yeast in that it opens up the various chemical structures inside the rice to make them capable of being fermented, releasing the sugars. It tends to be a good deal sweeter. I tend to notice pear notes. Honeydew melon is a really dominant note that I pick up a lot in sakes. And yeah, they tend to be relatively sweet with a real smooth, light character. And sometimes a little bit of a funkiness. So this is really strong in the honeydew. You don't have to stick your nose in very far. Just here you're picking up a pretty dominant honeydew. If you stick your nose in further, it's going to get a bit of an alcohol burn. This smells a bit like an inexpensive wine. So yeah, 15.5% ABV. That's pretty common for sakes. Real smooth note, just the whole character. Think of a honeydew melon, and there's very sweet, smooth, green kind of aromas. I would imagine if you heated it up, that would make it even more intense. And if you chilled it, that would cool it down a bit, obviously, but also metaphorically speaking. I kind of like the wine-like character of sake. Well, that's what I appreciate about it. I'm not a huge sweet wine person. Actual dessert wines, Rieslings, even Moscatos and such tend to be syrupy sweet, whereas the sweetness of a sake is more of a fruit, like a melon sweetness. And not that it is more natural, but it feels like the flavor is more of a natural flavor to me. So I think I prefer sakes over actual sweet wines. Oh, that's really delicate. Vanilla. So honeydew, and almost like the flesh of the honeydew, but then also a really nice vanilla. And then there's a surprisingly tannic finish to this. Almost like you're getting to the rind of a honeydew. I don't know if you've ever had honeydew rind. I mean, it's not exactly edible, but it's not exactly toxic either. But it has that kind of a tannic, almost a little bit of a bite to it. A little bit of a creamy cheese, like a cream cheese or Neufchâtel or something like that. Yeah, there is. It's more than just cream cheese. There's a little bit of a funkiness to it as well. That's really quite pleasant. I like that. That's a really nice one. My favorite sake of maybe the half dozen total or dozen total I've tried is the black and tan, which I believe is also a Gekkeikan. I'm not entirely sure if Gekkeikan is the the brand or the style. I haven't studied a whole lot about what the different names of sake mean. I believe this is the brand, but I think Gekkeikan is also the one that does, it's a black and gold bottle. The bottle is short and squat, and it's black, and it has like gold lettering painted on it. That's probably my favorite sake. I couldn't describe it per se, but I believe it is the same brand as this one, which is part of the reason why I picked this one when I saw it on the shelf a couple weeks back. There's a butteriness to it as well. So it's interesting. It has this really, melon, really strongly honeydew melon finish or start, and then this kind of tannic finish. And in between, you have this kind of buttery, creamy, slightly funky, really nice middle that's quite pleasant, quite enjoyable. And I am definitely enjoying it. Yeah, I'm not going to rate this because I don't really plan on doing a whole lot of sake reviews. I just like sake. It's a decent drink. It's a tasty drink. It might not appeal to everybody. The flavors are quite different from those of beer. If you are a sweet wine person, you might find sake's appeal to you. But my wife isn't a huge fan of sake, and she is a fan of sweet wines. So maybe some of that funkiness in there that I find interesting might make it a bit too much for you. But thinking about it, if you're more of a dry white wine person, you might find sakes are particularly interesting. When I'm eating sushi, I tend to enjoy having a sake with it. It just seems to fit. Like food, like drink. Anyways, I'm just going to leave it at that. This is me, Matthew. I have been drinking and enjoying Gekkeikan, a sake, not a beer. I'll catch y'all on the flip side.